Hello,
Hey, how's everything?
it's great. How are you?
Very good, very good. Let's go back a little bit to your first release, the EP 2017 Arrival. Tell me a little bit about that because I never heard that before yet.
Absolutely. So when the band first got together, they immediately started writing and rehearsing songs and went to the studio really fast to record an EP. And I actually joined the band like a year after it was released. That's actually how I joined the band because they sent it to me. And from what I heard, some of the songs were written really fast for that EP, and it turned out pretty good. But it was a really young band, young
Right,
band's first EP.
right. Um, so the new CD comes out March 25th. The band Bomber, which you're part of, Eternal Creatures. Tell me a little bit about that album.
This album, compared to the early EP, is something that we worked on for a while, and we set some pretty high goals from the start. We really wanted to do like the album, and we spent a lot of time thinking about concept, working with songs, recording demos, and all of that stuff. And we tried to listen to a lot of new music, a lot of like classic hit albums, a lot of Def Leppard, Roxette, Kate Bush, Fleetwood Mac, a lot of that stuff to like make this big, well-produced album. That was kind of the goal, mixed obviously with our influences of 80s heavy metal and all of that good stuff.
Right. And what are some of your favorite bands?
Obviously, number one, Iron Maiden. And I think I can speak for the whole band when I say that. Iron Maiden. Besides that, I mean, obviously the classic ones. Judas Priest is probably the second best band in the world. I'm hugely influenced by Kiss,
Right.
music-wise, but also stage-wise. I'm one of those kids who found Kiss when I was really young and immediately knew that I wanted to be a rock star.
Wow. Uh, what are some of your favorite releases on that on your new album?
Do you mean
Like,
some
what's
of our
your
favorite
personal
songs?
favorites? What's your personal
Okay.
favorites?
Ooh, it's kind of hard to answer one or two because I think one of the things that we worked on a lot was we tried to make the whole album interesting and we wanted the songs to complement each other's.
Right.
Uh, but obviously, I love the opening song, Zarathustra. It's got that rock and roll balls to the wall, like here we are, get out of our way. Perfect single, perfect album opener to me. But I also love the epic songs from the album, like our latest single, A Walk of Titans, Hearts Will Break, and the last song of the album, Aurora, which
Right.
is this long, a bit more progressive track.
Right. If you get to go out on tour and stuff like that, what's some of the bands you'd like to go out with besides Iron Maiden?
Besides Iron Maiden. Well, obviously we are a new band, we're a young band, but we aim for the big stages, the arenas. That's when we wrote our music, we wrote it for big stages, not for like smaller clubs and stuff like that. So I think it would be really fun to do a tour with Ghost, maybe. I think they got a cool, fresh take to the whole arena concept. And there are some smaller Swedish bands I'd love to tour with, like Hellas or Tribulation. Would be great.
Right. Now you're signed to Napalm Records. Tell me a little bit about how you guys got signed.
Sure. So we early on thought about how we would get the attention of a label, and we knew that we wanted to at least try to find something pretty big and something that we could feel really confident and hopefully work with for the upcoming albums as well. And when we were like halfway into recording the album, we picked 4 of the songs that we thought represented the album pretty good, and we did a good fast mix of those. And by then we had already obviously the band name, but also the name of the album. We had the cover art ready. We had taken new really good looking band pictures, and we tried to sell it like a package, like you should sign our band because you don't have to work a lot on like getting it all together. We are already done with everything. We just want someone to release the album and work on the promotion with us and try to make something cool out of it. So I think it was important for us to deliver something good and ready, a finished product, if you will.
Right. Now, you know, Sweden seems like the best place for music right now, and has been for a long time. Because one of my favorite bands is Crash Diet. And tell me what the club scene is like right now in Sweden.
Yeah, I'd say that right now it's pretty like focused to obviously bigger cities.
Right.
I know that Sweden is famous for like great young rock bands and all of that, but we're not a good touring country necessarily, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because of, you know, urbanization, people moving into cities and out from the suburbs. But if you want to do a tour in Sweden, you basically do the big cities: Malmö, Gothenburg, Stockholm.
Right.
And that's sad because it's a pretty big country apparently, with many cities and many cities with great music scenes, or at least great bands coming from them. But normally Swedish bands, we go south. We go to the mainland of Europe.
Right. Tell me a little bit about the recording of the album. Where'd you record it, and how long it took, and so on.
Yeah, we recorded it in Studio Möllan, it's called, in Malmö, in Sweden. And the producer, or the owner of the studio, is a good friend of us, and we knew early on that we wanted to work with him because, first of all, he's a great sound engineer, and we always felt like he understood what we said. We could tell him like, yeah, this is good, but we want the choirs to sound more like Fleetwood Mac on this part, and he would be like, oh yeah, I got you. Or yeah, it's cool, but we want the bass drum to be a bit heavier, but not in the bad way. And he's like, obviously, I got you. So it was really cool working with him, and he really understand what we wanted to do. And I'd say recording wise, like doing the drums, guitars, the basic stuff, that went pretty fast, maybe 2 weeks or something like that. We were pretty well rehearsed, but we did spend a lot of time on the producing of the rest of the album. There's a lot of percussion, backing vocals, and backing instruments in general. There's some piano, there's synthesizers, and we wanted to try to make something fresh, not just like a retro rock album, but try to bring something new to the table and be creative while producing it.
Right.
So it took a couple of months or so, but again, I think what took the most time was like the pre-production stage. We spent a lot of time working on the songs before we went to the studio.
Right. Nocturnal Creatures, who came up with the name, and how did you decide on that?
Oh, we knew that we wanted like the whole night concepts of the album. Almost all of the songs are somewhat singing, they're related to the night somehow. I can't actually remember who came up with the actual name. I knew we were talking about like creatures of the night and that whole vibe. But I remember that as soon as we like started speaking about nocturnal creatures, it just seemed right. And yeah, it's actually in a verse in one of the songs, Aurora, on the album, we sing nocturnal creatures. So I think that's probably where we found the name, and it seemed right immediately.
Will you guys do some shows or a tour coming up?
We are working on it. Obviously, things been moving quite slowly after the pandemic and all of that. We recently released a show at Sweden Rock Festival, which is basically the best way to start your career in Sweden, at least. But we're working on some touring stuff. We don't have anything announced right now, but there's some cool things that's gonna come.
Cool. Do you have any kind of merchandise that's available right now?
We do. We have an online store with some shirts and some hats and stuff like that on the lo-fi merchandise.
Right. What's your feeling about the world as it is at this time?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of horrible things going on right now. People not being very nice to each other. And like, obviously when you're playing a band, you were thinking like the pandemic was the worst thing that could happen. But then as soon as the pandemic started to like move away and everything started to like kind of get back to normal, all of a sudden you're on the verge of a third world war basically. And I don't know, it's horrible. And I just hope that it's gonna end, and I really long for like normal times again, if there ever is such a thing as normal times. But yeah, it's tough times right now. But then again, look at the last century, like early 1900s, it was horrible times then as well. So but to me what's worse right now is that I feel like, when will humanity learn from its mistakes?
Right, definitely.
That's yeah, tough times indeed.
What's a typical day for you from you getting up in the morning to nighttime?
I'm actually a student right now. I'm studying to become a train engineer. So I'm working on trains and studying electricity besides being a rock and roll musician. I have a big dog that I live with, a fiance, a house. So I'm kind of doing my best to balance the everyday normal life out here on the countryside of Sweden, while also doing the whole rock and roll thing and trying to make the best out of that, and working a lot on making the best out of this release as possible, of course, and rehearsing and writing new songs and all of that. So it's a balance, but it's fun.
Right. Nocturnal Creatures, Napalm Records, congratulations. Would you like to say anything to the fans?
Well, I just want to say that so far we are so happy for the support we've got already, and it's not easy for a new rock band to like break through all of the fuss. There's so many good bands right now, and we are so thankful for everyone that's giving us a chance so far, and we really hope that everyone is gonna enjoy the album when it's out. So we are really happy to release it.
Right. And how's the press going with that? John Freeman took care of this interview for us. How's he doing? And how's your PR people?
So far, it's been great, really. And to be honest, Napalm Records is like delivering way above what I expected, in the way that they care for us and really care for the music, and they really want us to like meet people, talk to people, get our music heard. And I'm really happy for that. So it's been great so far. We talked to a lot of nice people and done some promotional events and all of that, and pushed our music videos and singles. So I think it's been great. Absolutely great.
Congratulations once again, Bomber. Check out the new album. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.